Hi, I'm Jhánneu, a solo traveler that's been to over 25 countries. I currently live between the US and the south of France. I'm in Nice right now. And today I'm going to share with you solo travel mistakes to avoid and 8 tips to help you enjoy and plan your next solo trip. So let's hop into the video. First and foremost, stick to carry-on only. So when I was traveling to Europe before I had a place here, I would have a backpack and a carry-on bag. So there's a couple reasons for this. One, when you have all these layovers and things, the chances of your bag getting lost is pretty high nowadays. I also keep an air tag in my carry-on suitcase and backpack in case for some reason they have to check my carry-on bag. I want to make sure I know where it is at all times. So if you do end up checking something, make sure you have an air tag in it, because if they lose it and they can't find it, you can show them exactly where it is. Also, I don't know if you've seen videos or even experienced it yourself, but for example, when you're in Europe, there are cobblestone streets, and dragging these large heavy suitcases with no escalators and all these stairs is literally just gonna make your life so hard, especially when it's hot outside. You are just gonna be struggling so much. So I would highly recommend just keeping a minimalist wardrobe. Find a few cute pieces. When I would travel to Europe, I would have about 2 or 3 dresses, 2 or 3 skirts, 2 or 3 tops, probably about a week's worth of underwear, because you can always just hand wash in the sink and air dry it. And honestly, that can easily fit in a carry-on suitcase. Less is always better, and if you truly do need something, you can easily buy it. The next mistake is not researching transportation. So how are you getting from the airport to where you are staying? I would highly recommend downloading Google Maps offline, so even if you lose service, you can easily find your way back home if you're walking or taking the train. Also, not every place has Uber. So for example, Barcelona, Uber will not work. There are other apps like Bolt, which I actually recommend because it is a bit cheaper. You can use Bolt all throughout Europe and also in parts of Asia as well. So just make sure you know how you're getting to where you're going, because you don't want to just be stranded, scrambling, trying to figure out how to get to your hotel, or maybe getting ripped off by a taxi. So just make sure you do the research beforehand. That's why I highly recommend choosing a place that has a good transportation for a solo trip. Nice, for example, there is the tram. You can easily take the tram from the airport to where you're staying. That's why I love it so much. I would have to walk 15 minutes to the particular tram. I can take the tram closest to me to the other tram, and that can take me directly to the airport. So make sure you're choosing a place that has good public transportation. Another mistake is over planning everything. So I am definitely a planner. Okay, your girl likes to have an idea of what she's doing, what's going on, but also you have to leave room for spontaneity. What if you meet someone and you want to go explore another part of town? So just leave room for spontaneity and fun things to pop up. I would highly recommend coming with maybe a few things booked. So maybe you book a cooking class or you book a tour. All of those things are good for meeting people as well, but just leave room to sort of plan as you go. If your whole schedule planned and you feel like you have to stick to it, you're gonna stress yourself out, and also it just doesn't leave room for spontaneity and to meet other amazing people. Next is choosing the wrong accommodation. First and foremost, you wanna make sure you are being safe, so don't always just stay at the cheapest place. Look at the safety reviews. What are the reviews on it? Is it in a good area, especially solo traveling as a woman, or if I'm going to a country I've never been before, I wanna research the safety. Is it safe to be out at night? In Nice, I can walk home at 2 a.m. and be fine. I've never had any issues. Of course, you need to use street smarts, but make sure you do your research beforehand so you know the safety. Like, should you Uber home at midnight, or can you take the tram? Like, make sure you do your research to see what other, for me, women have been saying about that particular city. I highly recommend staying in co-living spaces. So co-living spaces are essentially kind of like hostels, but like more elevated. So I like staying at Outsite, for example. So imagine like college dorm rooms, but elevated. So you have your own room, your own bathroom. You also have other solo travelers or couples or whatever there as well. And they have kitchens and they have a staff that cleans. So you basically get that hotel experience, but you feel a bit more safe because you have other people around you. And then also when it comes to hotels, make sure people aren't overhearing what room you're in. Make sure you are not telling people that you're traveling solo. If a guy is asking you if you are here with someone, you can definitely say you are, but of course, just play it by ear. Also, when you're choosing a place, I highly recommend prioritizing walkability. You do not want to be staying in a place that's a 30-minute train ride outside of the city. Like, you want to stay in the middle of things. It's gonna make your life so much easier. Yes, it may be a bit cheaper, but I'm telling you, it's going to make a big difference when you can literally walk outside and walk to all the various activities and things and restaurants. I think when you're traveling by yourself, there's already so many things you have to think about. There's a way to make your life easier. You should definitely do it. The thing is not staying digitally prepared. So for example, my phone that I have right now is a T-Mobile phone. I'm currently in France, and honestly, it doesn't really work well. I don't have an international plan, but I have a French phone that I then tether to my iPhone. What I've also used in the past is eSIMs like Airlo, so it allows you to get internet in other countries, and it's a lot more affordable versus going through your phone company and buying an international pass. The last thing you want is to be stranded somewhere that you don't even know and your phone doesn't work. So make sure you always have that charger. It is so important because especially when you're out all day, you're going to be using your phone a lot. So make sure that you have a charger with you. And going with your phone, I highly recommend having a VPN. I use NordVPN, and essentially it helps to protect you from any cybersecurity things that could happen, because when you're connecting to public Wi-Fi, people can hack you and all the things. So it definitely helps to protect, and also you can use it to change your location back to the US, for example, and you can easily watch your favorite shows, because when you come to Europe, there are certain things that you can't watch, like Hulu doesn't work, for example, or there's certain things on Netflix that you can't view here. So that's more of a fun thing, but definitely you want to make sure you are protecting your data and all your cybersecurity things. Next is being afraid to eat alone. Now, I've been doing this for so long that, like, honestly, I have a good old time with me, myself, and I. Okay, I can enjoy a great meal. It can feel awkward at first, especially dinners. I feel like lunch, it's a bit more casual and you see people eating by themselves more at lunch, but when it comes to dinner, it might feel uncomfortable. And that's totally okay, and that's totally normal as well. There are definitely times where I'm in places where I wish there was someone with me. I went to Santorini, Greece by myself once, and I didn't know this, but like Santorini is definitely the place where people go on their honeymoon or go to get engaged. If you want to go to a more party place, go to Mykonos. But I'm like at dinner, you know, beautiful water, eating by myself, and this guy like proposes to his girlfriend, and I'm just like, yep, and I'm just over here eating alone. So I think, of course, go to any place that you want to go to that sounds interesting, but also when you're choosing a place, do your research. Like, of course, if there's a place that seems interesting to you and it's not necessarily a solo travel destination, still go, but something to keep in mind if you don't want to feel lonely. And when you go to dinner, you can bring a book, you can listen to an audiobook, you can journal. So definitely ways to not just, you know, be staring at the wall while you are eating alone, but just take that time to enjoy yourself, reflect. And I think time alone really allows you to get to know yourself, because there's so many people that just hop from relationship to relationship and they don't know who they are without someone. And it's so important to know who you are by yourself. That person might die one day before you do. Like, it's so important to know how to be alone, because then it also dictates the choices you make, because a lot of people choose to stay in friendships or relationships because they're scared of being alone. So I rather be alone than be in the wrong relationship. So I think it's really important to know how to be alone and be happy and be okay with being alone. I feel like I do so many things. I'm learning French. I moved to France. I do cooking classes. I do so many things, and it just adds so much joy to my life. So I think it's just important to find value outside of people and things that you just truly enjoy. Another thing is not learning basic phrases. Well, of course, the sort of standard language when going around the world is English. I think there's something very just like kind and respectful just to learn how to say hello and thank you. And then of course, always have Google Translate. Google Translate, you can also download a language offline as well, because, you know, who knows, the internet might be spotty. So it's good to always download the translation app offline. Maybe you're taking your first solo trip, travel to a place that maybe English is the first language. So you could easily go to London or Ireland, for example, or go to a place like Lisbon, where if you're in the city, they all speak perfect English. So just something to keep in mind. You definitely don't need to go to a place that is very English speaking. If you are really trying to ease into it, it could make your life a lot easier. But yeah, it just depends on where you are. But English is obviously like the standard language across the world. And between having an app and just being a kind person, it just makes all the difference. And finally, trusting your intuition. So from the south side of Chicago, you know, I have street smarts. A lot of people don't have street smarts. So if something feels off, just don't stay in that situation. If you are out with a group of people and something doesn't feel right, don't be afraid to leave. Your safety is top priority. Make sure there's someone that knows where you are. You can share your location with someone back home. Never put yourself in a dangerous situation. Also, even if you're someone that posts on social media, whether you have 5 followers or 5,000 followers, never post where you are in real time. So anytime you see my Instagram and you see me staying at a hotel, I am not currently there. That happened previously because we don't need some random person, okay, showing up at the door. People are crazy out here. So never post your location in real time because you just never know what could happen. So you may be saying, Jhánneu, like all this sounds great, but I feel like I'm still scared to take that solo trip. But the truth is doing things in life that scare you is what's gonna help you grow and become a better person. I'm so comfortable with being by myself and doing things alone. Some people say, oh, you're so brave to just move to France without knowing anyone. And I'm like, normal for me to just hop on a plane and just figure it out. Like it's not a weird thing for me. And being in France, I've actually made so many friends. You definitely have to be someone that's a bit sociable in order to make friends. You go to a place with a positive attitude, you do a little bit of research, you plan activities so you don't feel like you're alone. It all just like comes together really well, and you still obviously get a great amount of alone time, but it's really up to you as to how much you want to be alone, because you could do tours back to back to back. I've done tours where it's a dinner, where it's a lunch, where it's a food tour, where it's a boat tour. So you could literally pack your schedule if you wanted to so you don't feel alone. But I would challenge you to take some time alone, take some time to reflect on who you are, what are the things that you want, and it can truly be life-changing. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.